So I just want to talk about legal offense and defense. I honestly resolved an issue in the past, not even 12 hours, that involved a client who's been going back and forth with an employer for, I would say, over a month about, withheld wages, a stop check, and this, that, and the 15th. And, I talked to the alleged victim, the employer, about 5 minutes. Had my client take a couple actions that honestly she probably should have taken in the beginning, and the matter was resolved. But as I explained to the alleged victim and to my client, this could have all been resolved in the beginning had you not postured yourself in the way. And honestly, I'm guilty of this as well. Sometimes I take such a hard stance in the beginning that I force the other side to take a hard stance as well. And then I always think to myself, hey, if I would have just been a little bit nicer, if I would have just been a little bit, softer about my approach in this, I wonder if we could have just reached an amiable agreement. I mean, this has happened to me a lot of times, honestly, especially with negotiations, like litigation, other corporations and stuff like that. And I've learned to try to be more collaborative, but what happens, especially when there's criminal stuff involved or there's money involved, people get scared. They get worried about their reputation. And I think, and I was explaining to my client, when you put somebody on the defensive, people react differently to that. It's that fight or flight mechanism. Some people will, they'll cower, they'll be afraid, they might go lawyer up. Other people might get offensive. They might, think, how can I hurt this person in the way that they're trying to hurt me? And so, and the last thing I would say to that is that if you're going to threaten somebody with legal action, you got to be prepared to go all the way with that. It can't be an empty threat. I was just thinking, I don't want you to think I'm going to war with noodles in my pocket. I want you to know that I'm going to war with guns, bazookas, nuclear weapons, etc. So, when I do come hard in that sense, like I had to write a very strong letter to the opposing party before I made the phone call, because I wanted them to know what I'm prepared to do for my client. But I made the phone call so that they could hear my voice and so that I could empathize, because I'm not an idiot. I know that my client is not an angel in this. I don't think there's such thing as an angel. I don't think anyone is pure in this world. I think we're all just varying degrees of bad. People call me a cynic for that, but that's just my worldview. So I empathize with the other side and with the employer, and I said specifically, I completely understand why you took such a hard stance of trying to go after my client in the way that you did. But that said, she's taken XYZ action, and we hope that this can resolve the matter. And she said, yeah, that's all I wanted. Simple. 12 hours. Paid in full. Client satisfied. Done and done. And I mean, it's relatively easy work for me, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking something that's relevant to me as well. This could have been resolved with a simple conversation and just a different approach by my client and her former employer. So that's just kind of all I will leave you with on legal offense and defense.